Zootopia 2 has come home to Disney+.
Let's go!
Get ready for a new case.
We're the greatest partners of all time!
New friends.
Gary the Snake.
And your last name?
The Snake.
Dream Team.
New habitats.
Zootopia has a secret reptile population.
You can watch the record-breaking phenomenon at home. Zootopia 2, now available on Disney+, rated PG. And right now you can get Disney Plus and Hulu for just $4.99 a month for 3 months with a special limited time offer. Ends March 24th. After 3 months, plan auto-renews at $12.99 a month. Terms apply.
The world moves fast. Your workday, even faster. Pitching products, drafting reports, analyzing data. Microsoft 365 Copilot is your AI assistant for work. Built into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and other Microsoft 365 apps you use. Helping you quickly write, analyze, create, and summarize. So you can cut through clutter and clear a path to your best work. Learn more at Microsoft.com/M365 Copilot.
Hi everybody, and welcome to the Dr. Psych Mom Show. Today we are continuing our discussion of addictive behaviors because my most recent subscriber episode was about money addiction, the addiction to making and spending money. And today we're going to talk about drinking. And of course, everybody knows that you shouldn't drink too much, right? And people will rationalize the shit out of this, though, because they are addicted to drinking, and that doesn't just mean that they are what you would consider a fall down drunk or a alcoholic that can't keep a job. There are many high functioning alcoholics and there are problem drinkers. And if you mostly fight with your spouse when you're drunk, this is an episode for you. Or if you're not having sex because you're drunk, there are so many ways. This is a free way to transform your marriage. If you stop drinking, it'll probably change your marriage more than a year of couples therapy. Honestly, if you are drinking during a year of couples therapy, it will not change your marriage. So don't even bother. If you are going to be drinking every night and saying it doesn't impact you, the only reason to go to couples therapy would be if you want to admit that and then listen to the therapist tell you that you should stop. Maybe that'll do something for you. Or you want the therapist to say that to your partner because your partner is the one that's drinking. But if you are getting drunk or buzzed every night, there is really no way to do work on yourself. So you heard it here first. And you're deluding yourself. There's no way when you cannot think straight to engage in the deeper work of reflection and empathy and compassion and all of this that is necessary, and self-regulation and self-control that's necessary to have communication and intimacy improvements in your marriage. How does drinking impact your marriage? A million ways. First of all, if you could be a quiet drunk, you could just be sitting there drinking the whole night and detaching from everybody, then you can't really relate to your wife, your kids, your husband, because obviously women are doing this as well. The point being, you are not really there. Your body is there, but your brain is not there. Your soul is not there. You are not really in your family. If you are sitting there progressively getting drunker over the course of the evening, you really don't even know what's going on. You can't follow what's on TV. You can't text normally on your phone. So many people comment on Facebook, drunk, late night, misspelling, and then they delete it the next day on my posts. You always know. People always know when you're drunk. When you're texting when you're drunk, they always know. You sound different. You mess stuff up. You don't spell things right. Your grammar's not right. And it sounds the same when you're talking to your kids, and it sounds the same when you're talking to your spouse. So first of all, you're not really there, and that absence really is, nobody can be in a relationship with a specter, with somebody who's not actually there. So you're not there, so you cannot be in relationship with anybody in your home, even if you're telling yourself you can. The next is it has huge sexual impacts. Many women say their husband cannot perform because he drinks every night and he doesn't want to hear it. And remember that this guy probably isn't even going to go on Viagra or Cialis because he knows that the problem is the drinking, but he doesn't want to know, So it's like he's deluding himself that he performs the same, but in reality his penis is soft or soft enough for her not to like it. He's like kind of acting clumsy. He doesn't really he can't spatially remember how to get her off. He doesn't give a shit. The whole thing, the drunken sex is terrible. And for women, it's much, much harder to have an orgasm if you're drunk. Now, if you have one drink, a lot of women say it relaxes them if they're inhibited, but one drink every night is not good either because that is an addiction. That is something that you're dependent on, is a drink every single night. So if you go out, you have a drink on date night, okay. 2 drinks on date night. If you got to have more than 2 drinks on date night, this is not date night. This is drunk night. And you guys are probably having date night so that you could have drunk night. And there's a lot of people who have high functioning alcoholism that have lots and lots of date nights and their marriage is shit because they're not really going on the date to have the date. They're going so that they have a socially condoned way to get drunk. And that brings me to what usually also happens, which is fighting. And the way that a lot of people try to tell themselves that this doesn't matter is because they say, oh, whatever I say when I'm drunk during a fight is what I meant to say when I'm sober. I just lose my inhibitions. Yeah, you lose your inhibitions, you lose your brain, and you lose your judgment. And sometimes you just make up random shit because you're not making any sense because you're impaired. Your brain is impaired. So people will say things that, in fact, are not what they meant, and they will say things that are just completely, think about this. What if you were driving drunk and you hit a child? Would you say, you know what, I didn't like that child. Actually, I wanted to hit that child when I was sober. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. So when people say these things, it's just absolute bullshit. And it's just a way to try to get out of dealing with the fact that you're, addicted to drinking. And that your anger issues come out more when you're drunk. So yeah, you may have anger issues, but you know what? It's like if a tree falls in the forest. If you have anger issues that are under control, do you really have anger issues? Not really, not the same way. So you could have been brought up in a home where you were modeling on 2 nasty, angry, usually drunk parents that were screaming at each other. But if when you don't drink, you don't act like that, then you don't act like that. But if when you do drink, you do act like that, then you are passing down that intergenerational trauma. So if you can control yourself when you're not drunk, then you're a person who can control yourself. Now, if you drink and you can't control yourself, then you are an angry drunk. And that is the worst kind of, that's a very usually abusive person, whether they're abusive to their children or to their spouse or to anybody in their orbit. You cannot possibly think you are now being told that if you have big fights when you are drunk and you don't fight when you're sober, it's not like you're sitting there when you're sober fiending to fight. That is just some bullshit that you're telling yourself. Now, when you are drunk, also the other thing is your partner doesn't even believe one word you say and thinks this drunk is just bullshitting. And they're right to some degree. So anything that you say, even if coincidentally you hit on some truth, they are not going to respect you. They are not going to believe you because you're drunk. So if you really have all of these problems with your spouse and they only come out when you're drinking and you think that they're real problems that would be there if you didn't drink, then run that experiment. Stop drinking and see what problems you have, see what fights you have, and then get into therapy to address them when you're sober. Now, by the way, stopping drinking can also stress a marriage because the other person usually is left being drunk alone, because usually this is an activity that both engage in. Now, sometimes it's not, but it was kind of keeping homeostasis in the relationship. So if, let's say, you were a quiet drunk that then couldn't get an erection, this may work for a wife that doesn't want to spend time with you or have sex with you. It's like kind of awesome. Here you're basically neutering yourself and quieting yourself and not being there. It's the closest that person could come to divorcing you, but you're still sitting in the armchair. Oh, well, nothing's perfect. But then you stop drinking, you may want to pursue a relationship, have sex, and they don't want to do it with you because they never wanted to be with you to begin with. Maybe it was your drinking that caused the original empathic rupture, maybe not. And of course you switch the genders as well. And if you want to switch the genders in the way that I always tell you to watch this movie, watch the movie with Meg Ryan and Andy Garcia, When a Man Loves a Woman. It's about she's an alcoholic, and it's how their marriage changes when she stops drinking. It's a great movie. And I always recommend it about codependency and enabling and alcoholism and any sort of addiction and any sort of dynamic, Mr. Perfect and his crazy wife type of dynamic, anything. So it's a great movie, and you should watch it if you have struggled with addiction, with codependency, with anything. Really just watch. All right, but point being, sometimes stopping drinking can really shine a light on problems that were already there. But you know what? Drinking yourself into a stupor so that you can stay married in a situation where y'all don't like each other, that's not the way either. And your kid is going to remember that you were never there and that you were always just drinking. Kids are not stupid. You know, they understand that when somebody keeps on, you know, drinking and drinking and drinking, despite that carrying them further and further away from the family, that there's a problem going on. They may not realize it when they're tiny, when they're like 3 or 4 years old, but they definitely realize it when they're an adolescent, and they definitely tell it to me when they're an adult in therapy. And you do not want to be remembered as somebody who was just in their own world drunk, or worse, yelling and screaming and carrying on drunk. So if there is one thing that you could do for yourself, for your children, and for your marriage, it's stop drinking. Now, some people say, but I don't want to stop drinking. And then they have all these like cute little reasons, because I want to celebrate my anniversary. Celebrate your anniversary. You won't go have a glass of wine on your anniversary? Try. Many people can have a glass of wine on their anniversary and then not drink the rest of the time. Some people can't. So the only way you could know, and you know already, if you're somebody who's already tried to stop drinking in the past and you can, and then you tell yourself something like, I'm just going to drink at this event, and then you do, and then you drink for another 6 months, 12 months after that, and then you stop again, and you've been in the cycle forever, then you know that already. And you know that you should really be in AA or Smart Recovery or talking to an addiction doctor. There's so many doctors, by the way, now. GLP-1s are shown to help with addiction. Obviously, Antabuse has been around for 1 million years. There are other things that people have, these I forgot. There's one that quells urges in general that they use with addicts. It's not methadone. It's, shoot. I'm going to pause you so I can see what it is. It's naltrexone. It was low-dose naltrexone is something that people use. And there are other drugs as well, Topamax. You could... There's so many things that I've heard that people are using on-label and off-label to help with cravings, not just food cravings, which is the Ozempic and all that that's in the media, but also drinking cravings. So if you're somebody who says, I hate AA, I hate people, I hate groups, I hate Smart Recovery, I hate all, and that's, by the way, the non-God-oriented AA, and I hate therapy and I hate everything, well, first of all, you sound kind of miserable and you should work on that. But second of all, maybe there's a medication option that can help, right? And so think about it. Go to a doctor. What would you do for a doctor? You go to Psychology Today and you look up a psychiatrist, and then you click off the subspecialty of addiction. Then you'll find a psychiatrist who works with addiction. But to do that, you would have to admit that you have addiction. And if a lot of this resonated with you, then you probably struggle with addictive behaviors, and they've probably been in your family. And maybe today's the day that you will stop pretending that things aren't what they are, and you will look in the mirror and say, I struggle with drinking too much. It really fucks up the marriage. It fucks up my mental health. God forbid, I'm showing my children that the only way to get through my life and parenting is to drink, and I don't want to pass that on like my parents did to me. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. As always, if you want more content, join my Buy Me a Coffee. That's a new post every day. But if you want to engage with me more, there's a Facebook group, the Facebook Secret Group. It's in the episode description. You can always post a thread about yourself, your relationship, whatever. And all of us members are the only ones who see it. And we all write back and all that. All right. Thank you for listening, and talk to y'all soon. Have a great day, guys.
USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Tap the banner to learn more and get a quote at USAA.com/bundle. Restrictions apply.
Stitch Fix. Shopping is hard. Let's talk about it.
I don't have time to shop, so I buy all my clothes where I buy my seafood.
I just want someone to tell me what shirt goes with what pants.
I just want jeans that fit.
Stitch Fix makes shopping easy. Just show your size, style, and budget, and your stylist sends personalized looks right to your door. No subscription required, plus free shipping and returns.
Man, that was easy. I look good.
Stitch Fix, online personal styling for everyone. Take your style quiz today at stitchfix.com.